Welcome to Verbal Big Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. I'd like to welcome you all to the show. Now, you all have to forgive me because it's been a while since I've been on. Well, not really a while, but it's been a minute. Right now, I'm in the production of the episodes to a movie titled Everyday People the Movie. Right now, I just uploaded part 3 on YouTube, and I want you all to go check it out and leave a comment, your feedback, tell me what you think. Even if it's something that you imagine or you'd like to see us present within this movie, documentary, episode, this gumbo, put it like this. In this gumbo of this show, Everyday People the Movie, anything you like to see, add or comments or whatever, feel free to leave them on the comment section on the YouTube page. On my Instagram, Everyday People the Movie on Instagram, Verbal Pick Radio, whatever. Verbal Pick Radio on YouTube. Leave that and we'll do our best to get that in. Now, we got to jump on it real quick because it's a lot that has been taking place in the media, in the news. Trump says fake news, but let's delve into it because we want to deal with the real news, the true news. One, can you believe within your heart that there are pedophile priests? I don't think no one in America will deny that. I don't care if the news media tried to spin it and said that was fake news. Everyone in America can honestly say they believe that there are some pedophile priests. As a matter of fact, there's more than there should be. You don't have to convince anyone of that, so we know that's true news. And I'm giving you an example of how you can tell what is true because word of mouth, it is what it is. If there's smoke, there's fire. And if there's fire and you looking at the fire, that's actually fire. Now, some may go to the length of putting their hands in the fire to see if it burns, and then that may convince them that it is fire. Then you got others who will say, well, yeah, it burns, but let's see, will it burn my fingers off? And they'll leave it there till the pain's so intense till it burns their fingers off, and then they can walk around with a nub saying that, okay, yeah, that was fire. You dig what I'm saying? Meaning that if those of you who don't believe there's pedophile priests, then just lock yourself in a room with one of them with the door closed and let him do what he do. Because they was sexually assaulting men as well and little boys. You might have some men that want to go through that link to prove that, okay, it's pedophile priests. But for the most of us who are analytical and we can smell smoke, matter of fact, some of us don't even have to smell the smoke. We can see the example of someone who left, let's say, is dry, hasn't rained in, let's say, 30 days. You see the grass starting to turn brown. You see a piece of glass laying on that, you walk by, say you're walking by, you see a piece of glass laying on that scorched earth due to a lack of rain. You know, over time, once that sun shines on that glass, it's potential to give a spark, which is potential to give a start a fire. That's why they tell you no glass bottles. But if you walking by now, a good humane person would pick the glass up, throw it away. Prevent the fire preventive. But some would just walk by, fire starts, and they wonder, oh man, what happened? You see what I mean? the signs are there. Can you read the writing on the wall? They said it was so bad to where they had little boys posing as Jesus on the cross naked for the priest. They had a sex code of pedophilia. Little boys turning little boys into gay men or homosexuals. These homosexuals or gay men that was turned out by the priest who would go out into society because that's what they were turned into with a religious mind. If they was devout Catholics or being, let's say, going to the seminary or going or was a devout Catholic, let's say within 2 years. So you have a mission and a purpose in your mindset, but you conflicted on your gender. So others looking at you, seeing your success, they want to be like you, following your footsteps, and they say, okay, well, maybe I got to be gay to get to where he's getting, but not knowing that this person was abused. So you were following the abuse. You was following the mindset of the abused, and you didn't have the whole story. And when now they finding out what happened, and now you stuck in a role, and now you're mad at yourself. Now you become depressed, and bada bing, bada boom. That's how it goes. You know what I mean? And so that you have to watch it, because that story about the pedophile priest, that story broke in the midst of Omarosa and her tapes, and Trump using the N-word, which she claims she has the recording. And now the White House is not denying that she has the recording. They're saying they don't know. Okay, when at first they stated that there was no recording. Okay. So now the question you have to ask yourself is, which one is more severe? Because one is overcasting or overshadowing the other. One is being presented is left hand Johnny. You know, you watching the right hand while the left hand is has the prize. You know what I mean? You watching the right hand, but they finna sneak you with the left. You don't know which one that they do not want to go public, or which one would be more of a catastrophic event. Which one would cause more turmoil in the public eye, the public view? Which one is more damaging? Trump using the N-word, or the pedophilic priest? Which one will leave an engram or be ingrained or etched within the mind of the people, which will cause the most damage to the country? You know, see, that will be the biggest debate and the biggest topic in our lifetime. Racism or pedophilia? Now, let me argue on both sides real quick. I'm just playing the advocate. I don't say devil's advocate. I'm just being an advocate. I'm just letting me real brief, and we'll end this, but okay. Look. Civil wars, Jim Crow, black laws, slavery, the N-word, the hatred have been plaguing this country since the arrival of, not the blacks, because blacks are already here, and not the Africans, but since the arrival of the Europeans into America, into the Americas, into the continent of America, whether it's Central, South America, America period, because the natives that was here, whether it's Central, South America, Mexicans, whether you talking about El Salvador, Ecuador, or whatnot, they faced racism when the Europeans came. And it's been eating at the hearts of both sides. The indigenous, and when I say indigenous, I'm talking, or the original man, I'm talking about black people. With the 2 million Indians. Got to put that in there. So it's been plaguing at the hearts on both sides. There's no cure. You would have blacks ask the question, they wondering why do the Europeans, I'm going to give you the titles. Why do the Europeans, the Caucasians, i.e. the white man, why do he hate the original man or the indigenous man or the native man? Why do he hate them so much? Question never really been answered, but the question has been answered. If you are a student of the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, then you get that's where you go to get those questions answered. You see what I'm saying? Now, if you want to know about slavery, white Jesus, picking cotton, no ways tied, we shall overcome, and dreaming, then you go to the Christian side for black folks, and then they got the knowledge and theology on that portion. You know, if you want to know about integration, you got to go over to that side. If you want to learn about separation, you got to go over to Farrakhan, Malcolm, Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad Ali. You got to go over to that side and get those teachings. You know, what do you want to know about? You know what I mean? It's not racism. It's just truth. Which one? Which information would you like to receive? What do you want to know about? Okay, so now, because the questions are asked. Now, racism has been tearing this country apart, right? But there's another dilemma that the Caucasian, the white man, the European, whatever title you want to call them, white race, whatever, I don't know, whatever. Okay, the problem that they're facing is they're declining as a race. Meaning, it's stated that they won't be the majority in 2045. But if you look at it, they're not the majority now. But okay, for the statistics' sake, we'll say okay, 2045. No, we're not gonna say 2045. Let's see. We'll say we'll give it by 2030. By 2030, they'll no longer be the majority. But the white man is saying, "Hey, look, man, all you gays and these priests, that's pedophilia. Now you have become an enemy to the white race because you working towards and for the white race or the Caucasian or the European. You working towards his demise, towards his extinction with this pedophilia in the name of religion." And we know that the Catholic Church is predominantly white, and the priests are going after predominantly white men, although some black little boys got caught in the mix. But the parents shouldn't have had them there in the first place, but that's another story. Because that means the parent didn't do the history of the views at the foundation of the Catholic Church, is what I'm saying. You know, meaning, at one point, the white cats didn't want you in there in the first place. You know, but they're allowed because they got to play the role. But the truth of the matter is, they didn't even want you in there. So, okay, bam. So now we're dealing with racism, pedophilia. Now, racism for black people was crippling because the mind, it was so ingrained and so heavy on the mind to where it caused depression, it caused post-traumatic slavery disorders, it caused a lack of security, it caused insecurities in people, it caused to where it was, the rule was you walking, think about this now, you a man, you walking down the sidewalk, you see a white man coming, you a black man, you got to step aside and you couldn't look him in the eye, you had to put your head down. Then his father had to pass that same teaching on to his son. Well, why, you might ask, well, why would a father pass down such rules like that to his son? Because the punishment, if you didn't obey, was death. So he felt, okay, let me protect my son. If you want to stay alive, son, when you see a white man coming, get out the sidewalk. Don't look him in the eyes, because he will kill you. That's how brutal the Caucasian, the European was in those days. The white man was in those times. So that was been passed on in generations. And if you was living, let's say, in a wooded area or, little country town separate, that would go on longer than it should have. Meaning, you look at June 19th, 2 years had passed before it reached down to the south. You see what I'm saying? So they were passing that ideology, that mindset on to different generations. Now, how do you think that will affect the psyche of a black man who was created by the God himself? A man that can't look another man in the eye and has to turn his head or give another man in the sidewalk, give another man the right of way when they're both on the same sidewalk. How do you think that affects his productivity and his self-esteem, meaning it limited the amount of space on this planet that he felt he can operate in? He's saying, I can only go from here to here, when a planet is much larger than that. In his mind. Because I don't want to fight this man, because I don't want to kill him, and I don't want him to kill me. So I try to be the bigger person and just submit, which was killing him anyway. So that's on the one hand. That's what the blacks had to face. The other issue what the whites had to face was that old Roman, even before Roman, when they was in the caves, this ain't racism. When they was in the caves, a lot of homosexuality acts was going on. They had to fight that, but that's the root cause of their own extinction. So they putting it out on the table. Man, which one are we going to attack? We're going to attack the pedophilia, which is killing our race, making us extinct, or are we going to attack racism, which is killing our inner moral being and compass and uprightness, because it outweighed its time, and it shouldn't be. It outweighed its time, and you can't justify whites, Caucasians, Europeans, whatever term you want to call the race. You can't justify for it to exist. Doesn't have any solid ground, any basis on it. Meaning they put themselves between a rock and a hard place. Because since the Jesuits and the Catholics and had the money and was running the country, they had to bow down to the greed of the money that they was producing and financing. And so, okay, they bowed down to the money, to the greed, but at the cost of what? What does it say? What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? What? You know what I mean? What does it profit a man? So that's becoming a reality. So now they saying, damn, hey man, enough is enough. Look here, you Jesuits, you Catholics, you so-and-so, and this information is, you go through YouTube, man, they talk about the Jesuits, they talk about the origin of Catholicism, they talk about all of it. You just Google it. It's just out there. You know, they talk about all of that. And it seems as though they saying, going back to JFK, when he was talking about against secret societies. You got to get rid of them. Now, today they're saying, okay, we got to get rid of all these orders because if not, we're dying. But the orders is like, hey, keep the money rolling. You know, so I don't know. Black people more or less say, hey man, we not even worried about or trying to, because you got to think about it. Black folks spent over 400 years trying to get white folks to accept them and treat them as equal. And when I say white people, I'm not talking about, because you can have a white mind too. I'm talking about the race, the mindset that's within the race, the European, the Caucasian, or what they deem as the white man. But that's another story behind the colorism, but we don't have time to go into that right now. But what I'm saying is, they have to figure out their next move in the future, because it could be detrimental to the whole race. Again, it can wipe them out. But I'm saying that they put themselves in a position. That's why I'm saying Caucasian, white man, European. You don't look and blame anybody or any race for the situation that you put yourself in, because in hindsight, if you go back and look at the actions of the indigenous people or the original man, if you go back and look at the actions of the original man and or the indigenous man or native man really wasn't against you. They bowed down and backed away really to help you, hoping you figure this thing out. Why you think they didn't, why you think when they first saw you arrive, they just really wasn't wiping y'all out on their plan? They trying to say, okay, this God's planet, let them in, and we'll see if we can work together. That was your way in, put it like that. But now that wasn't good enough. You start saying, well, you know what? Looking around, they got gold over here, yeah. They got corn, they got maize, they got all this land, sun shining. It's not as cold and rainy as Europe. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to kill him and take it all. For myself. Yeah, that's me. I want it all. But now, mind you, this is one of the questions I haven't figured out, though. One question. When I say white man, Caucasian, European, or whatever, I don't know the religion or the ideology of who was following who. Put it like that. Were they all one mindset, or did one have a certain mindset that led the rest astray? That have to be figured out. We in the process of figuring it out. I don't know. Anyway, so that means either way, if one came to you with an idea of your own race but had a different mindset and said, hey, look here, why don't y'all help me take over all this land and kill all these people, and I'll give you I'll look out for you. I'll give you a piece of the action. And you said, yeah, come on, let's do it. Or was it a collective thought and said, hey, you know what? The hell with them indigenous. Let's just go take their thing because God bags us and they heathens and he don't love them. When he created the original indigenous first, we trying to figure all this out. Okay, but that's coming in later time. That's coming later. Okay. So now you're in a predicament to where racism, pedophilia. One is causing the population to decrease because two men can't have babies. That's just science. That's not, you know what I mean? Come on, man. That's not racism. Two men can't have children and adopt children, but you're not replenishing the population. Let's put it like that. Other hand, racism. Tearing the country up, especially financially. What are you gonna do? And I'm gonna put the post up, pedophilia or racism versus pedophilia. Which one is a bigger topic? And see what it do. And like I say once again, don't get mad at me. This is all over the news and whatnot. We just put it in a perspective. Verb Pick Radio, we're out.